Welcome back. We have some breaking news coming in. We're learning that China is building a second bridge over the Pangong Tso Lake. This bridge connects the north bank to the south bank and is being built from both sides. Now, it is much bigger than the first, and sources think that this might be a clear indication that the Chinese will use it for quick induction of armored columns. Now, my colleague Shreya Dhondial is with us. I'm going to go over to her for more details. But remember, this comes as the Ladakh standoff between India and China enters its third year. Let's go over to Shreya now for more details. Shreya, over to you.
Well, this is something that has been picked up by multiple Indian agencies, the fact that a second parallel bridge is being constructed over the Pangong Tso, and this joins the north bank to the south bank. In fact, the first bridge that was completed last year, and India was very upset about the first bridge being constructed by the Chinese over Pangong Tso. This first bridge is being used as a service bridge to build the second one. And all the imagery that has been picked up by intelligence agencies, all the inputs that have been picked up by Indian intelligence agencies seem to suggest that the second bridge that is coming up over the Pangong Tso Lake, which connects the north bank to the south bank, it is much larger, it is bigger, and it's broader. So, a question could very well be asked: if the Chinese have already built one bridge, where is the need to build a second, bigger and broader one? Now, this is the analysis that is coming forth by way of my defense sources. They're telling me that the first bridge is good enough to induct troops and equipment very quickly from one side to another, and that is what the Chinese want to do. This is preventive posturing. But what the second bridge, and as I said, the dimensions that are coming through seem to be that it's much bigger and broader, that the intent is to be prepared to quickly induct armored columns, which means tanks, etc., if the need arises. Why is this preparation coming from? What is this preparation coming from? Remember, in 2020, India had surprised the Chinese and taken over the Kailash Hills, and they had sat at the top of the heights, dominating the heights, something that had forced China's hands at negotiations. That is a situation that the Chinese don't want to repeat. They want to be in a position to, mobilize from the north bank to the south bank, or the south bank to the north bank rather quickly, which is why we are being told that this second, bigger, broader bridge is being built by the Chinese. Now, it is not just bridges. The fact is that, yes, whenever there is an infrastructure construction that the Chinese are taking on the other side, their side, but in an area which India calls disputed. In fact, if you do remember, Toya, when the news of the first bridge had come up, India had registered a very strong protest. They had said that this bridge has been built in territory that has been under the illegal occupation of the Chinese. So they've called this territory illegal occupation by the Chinese, and we are expecting, a similar angry reaction from the Indian side to come up as this news now filters in. But as I said, it is not just bridges. If you just look at the first bridge, from the first bridge that has already been constructed, there is a brand new swanking road that has been constructed, almost a highway that links it to the most muscular military headquarters garrison in that area. So the Chinese are very clearly telling us, with all the infrastructure they are building all along the LAC, not just in eastern Ladakh, that they are here to stay and they are going to be prepared. In the last 3 years of the conflict that has gone on, we are in our third year as far as the standoff is concerned. When it comes to defensive deployment, you have almost 50,000 troops on either side. So the situation is not going away anytime soon. And it is the army chief, in fact, who last week, the new army chief last week had said that by the looks of it, China wants to keep the boundary issue alive. They are in no mood to sort it out.
Shreya, I want to understand from you here, are Indian government sources saying that India at all sees a continuation of the fighting along the LAC?
We have Colonel Dinny, who is with us. He's someone who has, to answer your question, does the Indian side believe that we will see another fight break out like the one we saw in Galwan? The assessment of the Indian side is no, but they feel they need to be prepared for it. I'm going across to Colonel Dinny, someone who has extensively served in eastern Ladakh, in fact, in Pangong Tso, the area we are talking about right now. Good morning to you, Colonel Dinny. Thank you very much for your time here on CNN News 18. Can I start by asking you what you make of this news now filtering in various agencies picking up the construction of a second, broader, bigger bridge over the Pangong Tso? What do you think this implies?
Good morning to you, ma'am. And as you were rightly, analyzing in your initial comments, that when the first bridge was made, many people were asking what is the utility of this bridge apart from transporting troops and light vehicles. But now this particular bridge, which they have completed in last month, now that is being converted into a service bridge to construct a bigger bridge, and that bigger bridge is likely to be made in a manner that armored vehicles can move to South Bank and from North Bank to South Bank to North Bank and vice versa. Now the criticality here is that when India launched that operations of occupying those heights along the Kailash ranges, that is the time PLA realized that there is a vulnerability for them there as far as the movement of troops are concerned. So from that day itself, we, as you would rightly mention, there is a construction of a road, there is a construction of this bridge. So I think overall, what the message which the PLA is trying to give is that this particular issue is not going to die down in a hurry, and they're going to be here for a long time. And also, definitely, this is again an indication that the status quo, what we wanted in the manner which we wanted April 2020, that seems unlikely, because all these constructions are not going to go in a matter of few days or something like this. It's going to stay there. But having said that, let me also say that if the movement is only for this kind of in a conventional war scenario, it is not that these bridges cannot be taken out by our air force and artillery. So it is a messaging, it is a change of status quo, it is an assertion of their claims into that land, which is rightly ours. So all these things is what the Chinese are trying to project. And also we must remember the timing. The timing is that June is coming up, and it's going to be the anniversary of the Galwan, and in that I also believe that this is part of the build up towards June, in which every year they will this kind of things which we'll see, because in India also the issues of Galwan and all those things is going to come up. So it's part of the propaganda and information that the timing of now choosing this to slowly but steadily the inputs which are coming out.
Colonel Dilly, it's not just Eastern Ladakh. We are talking about a second bridge coming up in Eastern Ladakh, a bigger, broader bridge, a messaging by China, possibly, laying territorial claim over the area. India last time had reacted very angrily, saying that China is building this bridge in a territory it had illegally occupied since 1962. But it is not just Eastern Ladakh. We've heard from the Eastern Army Commander, the new Eastern Army Commander as well. And he's talking about the fact that China has amped up infrastructure build up all across the LAC, whether it is dual-use villages, whether it is helipads, whether it is permanent structures, permanent structures for soldiers, etc. So they are doing it all across the LAC, not just in Eastern Ladakh. So going back to status quo ante as India wants, I think China is sending a very clear message that isn't happening, not at least anytime soon.
Oh, absolutely, ma'am. There's no doubt that that is the message which they are trying to say. But we must also, put in perspective that we are also increasing our infrastructure development there. That is the one thing which we should never miss out. That in this, always we mention about the PLA doing things. But let me be very clear that from my time from there and today, when I see there is a enormous improvement in the infrastructure which is there, right up to Finger 4 and Finger 3 and all these areas in Finger 3 areas and all. There is helipad, which there are roads which being made, and there are the fabrications for the troops living. All this has come up. So it's not that it is a one-sided thing. Yes, definitely we can improve in many areas. But we are also doing a bit in a big way, which was never seen before. So I think the status quo has been changed. The Chinese have doing it, in a bigger way. But India is also not far behind as of now, is what I say. But yes, we have to do. We have to really catch up in many areas, because we've taken off slightly late.
All right, Colonel Diddy, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for bringing in your perspective to the story that is now playing out. The fact that China is building a second bridge, a bigger, broader bridge along the Pangong. So it's in a territory that India says that China has illegally occupied since 1962. Toya, that's the story we are tracking here. Any official updates from the Ministry of Defense, I'll keep you updated on that.
Shreya, thank you so much for those updates.